Previously in X-Men, Rachel Summers has escaped death at the hands of her teammate Wolverine, but she may have made a figurative deal with the devil when she visited the mysterious Spiral's otherworldly body shop, where a spell was cast. Magical dance. I am Jason Lapidus.
I'm Chris Sanagan.
And we are Group of Seven Comics. Welcome to episode 139 of our ongoing Tuesday night live stream read-through of the X-Men comics that became classic, as we read Uncanny X-Men issue 210 by writer Chris Claremont, penciler John Romita Jr., inker Dan Green, cover date of October 1986, arguably the greatest year in comic book history. Chris, how are you?
Buddy, I'm doing okay. I'm feeling good. Starting to feel a little more autumnal up here where we are in the world, southwestern Ontario. And I'm digging it. Sweater weather.
I love how you come on each week now talking about the weather.
I do, because I'm a man of a certain age. And that's the only thing that we can connect to.
Fair enough. You bury all your feelings and talk about the weather.
You can ask them for sure.
I'm excited to get into this one today. I'm excited for this stretch of time in X-Men. If you want to go deal with whatever you need to go deal with, it's totally okay. It's just me and Michael here.
Fish crackers were done with. Fish crackers are done with. So we're good.
Fish crackers are done, bro.
Fish crackers are done, bro.
I have not seen fish crackers in my house in a long time. All right.
Still favorite.
The Mutant Massacre, technically, we'll get into this here. This issue doesn't have like any adornment or, like titling that it's part of something. But we are getting into the very first X-Men crossover, which is like crossover event between all the kind of X books and peripheral books. And this becomes, from this moment on, like a staple of what it means to be making X-Men comics. They became event comics, and people often talk about what event they get on. They got in for Extinction Agenda, the Phalanx Covenant. They say all like this.
Two words together that don't mean anything.
Listen, we don't want to crap on someone's favorite or least favorite thing in X-Men, but it's funny how it's about coming up with the next big event. So this one was, I believe, I'm speaking from watching the documentary called Claremont's X-Men, I believe it's called. And in it, there's some really nice interviews with Chris and Louise Simonson and Nocenti at the same time. They're hanging out together, talking to the interviewer and to each other. And they talk about it as if this one was like, hey, let's do something fun together. And it was very successful in terms of sales. So it became now, that crossover. So it goes then to become a mandate from editorial, like management editorial, not just your book editor, but Jim Shooter and his replacements, or I should say successors, where now it's like X-Men, we need you guys to do another one, and then another one, and then another one. And as kid readers, this is not the thing that we are in for. We're just picking up books when we're 10, 11, 12. And, it feels like you're part of something. You're part of an event. So this is the first time that this one comes along. And it's a pretty exciting thing for a lot of people. I was reading at the time, and I didn't know it was going to be a thing until it was a thing. I think I was already used to a couple crossovers. I don't know what from. Maybe just limited series where I was. Well, Secret Wars
that's a limited series. Well, it has some tie-ins.
It had tie-ins in terms of the intro and outro. Like characters had a page in each of their own series where they jump in, and if you buy a particular trade of Secret Wars, it comes with those pages too. But the events, I'm not sure. Maybe I know I was at this time I was also reading Marvel Saga, which was a 25-issue overview of the continuity, starting from the beginning of time up until, and we didn't know then, but up until basically the arrival of Mary Jane and like the arrival of Silver Surfer. So, 5 years into, or 4 or 5 years into publication history. Um, so I was aware that there was huge connectivity, but this was
Yeah,
my
yeah.
first X-Men connected event. Yeah.
Is there so at this point in time, is X-Men still the best-selling Marvel book?
When we started the series, this show called
Yeah.
Previously on X-Men, that was a thing that I researched before we started because I love that idea that it goes from being a canceled book that's
Right.
literally in reruns, and reprints,
Yeah.
to being the number one book for basically 15 years.
Right.
And um, so I think at this point it still is, but
Okay.
I'm sure month to month there are other things that pop in and out.
Sure.
Yeah, like
Sure.
a particular, but I haven't checked the sales numbers for this moment in time. I find it actually a bit of a tedious task. So I didn't find them. I haven't really gone looking very hard. And I just know that it is a top selling book for all those years. And it carries over for years after Claremont leaves. So it's sort of like the 4 years leading up, or 3 or 4 years while him and Byrne are going, and then it hits that peak spot, and then it carries for a couple years after he's gone, even just because of people like Jim Lee and other top artists.
Mhm.
The book has its momentum; it gets readers hooked, and then it takes a while for people to start to really bail in big numbers, and then the TV show comes along. So there are
Right.
enough things that keep it really being a top book for a long time.
Right.
Regardless of the quality, there's just something. There definitely is something magical about the series that even when it's not great, people still love it, and that's really fun. That's really fun.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Um, Jason Jose says, first of all, hello. And he says, I think it was X-Men and Spider-Man as top sellers around 86. I would imagine if we were to look across company, now it's like a bit of a different ball game because there's now like the adult reader and certain things are top sellers, like Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns that are in different formats but as far as the newsstand and direct market, it was always hard to track reliable numbers from the direct market, but I think the newsstand numbers, they were still like a top book, if not the top book. And Spider-Man for a long time, like Jason's saying, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I mean, you have to think like Spider-Man is doing so well, they started a fourth series. Okay, around early
Right.
80s, you've got, of course, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Marvel Team Up, and Marvel Tales, which are reprints. Like four
Yeah.
Spidey titles, at least. I might even be forgetting one. And then Marvel Team Up ends, and they add in Web of Spider-Man.
Web.
So
Yeah.
you still have 4 series going on Spider-Man every month. I mean, it's
Wow.
wild.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Although I guess we will encounter a future where there is multiple X books.
Right.
coming
Well,
out right
at this moment in time, obviously there are 3 with a 4th starting. So you've got obviously X-Men, New Mutants, X Factor,
Mhm.
and then X-Men Classic or Classic X-Men is about to start, which we saw the ad
Right.
for last issue, right?
That's right.
On top of that, there has been limited series every year, starting with Wolverine and then Magic and
Yeah.
Kitty Pryde and Wolverine and then Nightcrawler. So there are regular and Longshot, which gets incorporated in. There are there's regularly a 3rd, 4th, 5th book. Soon Wolverine's going to get his own series within a few years. He's actually going to get 2 series. He's going to have Wolverine, the ongoing, by Chris Claremont, and first artist is John Buscema. And then the second Wolverine book, essentially a Wolverine book, is called Marvel Comics Presents, which is an anthology. Anthology series. It usually has 2 or 3 stories in it. A main, and like everyone gets 8 pages basically. So that's famous that's where Weapon X happens with the
Right.
Marvel Comics Presents. But it's Wolverine is the flagship character of that book. For like 100 issues easily.
Wow.
Anyway. Comics, man, comics. Have you you read anything else this week that was interesting for you? Well, did you pick up anything on the weekend? We were both at the Whitby Fan Con in Whitby, Ontario.
That's right. And that's right. I actually didn't pick up anything at Fan Con the night before. Good that I didn't pick anything up.
I'm just joking.
Night before, my local Dragon here in Guelph, Ontario, was one of the stops of the Brian Lee O'Malley 20th anniversary of Scott Pilgrim tour that was sponsored by Oni Press. And so he came to town, and I brought my kids, and they're big Scott Pilgrim fans. And so we got a signed copy of the reprint or the lace edition, which has been colorized because the original was in black and white. So, because it's a manga, basically. So, all to say, that was pretty cool. So, I have that at home. And that's the thing I picked up on the weekend. It was pretty cool. Nice guy. Nice. Very generous at this time. So, yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward. No, at Whitby, I picked up 2 books. I picked up Undergrowth by our friend Ricky Lima.
Yes.
Looking forward to reading that one. I started that actually. I'm looking forward to continuing reading because it's a big trade, big graphic novel. I picked up the second volume of Squire and Knight by Scott Chandler, the green one. So I'm going to read that one too.
Cool. I'm looking forward to picking that up as well. I think I have a copy, and then he's doing a signing again at the Dragon here. So friend of the show, former guest, Scott Chandler.
Yes.
Squire and Knight.
Garfield Field says, I get why people like Wolverine a lot, but I really wish X-Men didn't have a favorite mutant. He occupied so much space that could have gone to other more interesting mutants. Yeah, I hear you. At the time, he was the most interesting mutant. Perhaps. I mean, maybe you could say that him and or maybe Storm. Octopus Red Waving already moved from the comics. It started releasing at the time. It took a while to write. Okay, cool. No worries. It's all good. I understand. Take your time to write, and I'm always happy to go back. There was definitely no Wolverine fatigue at the time. That's just where Marvel was at. He was their sort of their golden goose in the moment, where Spidey had maybe run his course, and they were looking for as the readers were starting to age up. He was their anti-hero, like on a team, and was part of a top-selling book. And it didn't look like, I think maybe they didn't believe that anyone else had some creative legs underneath them or story legs. And Wolverine had that whole Man of Mystery thing, and it seemed like a great opportunity. And I can see why they went that route. And I definitely was not tired of Wolverine
ever
as a 12 and 13-year-old. I'm still not. But I definitely got tired of certain kinds of Wolverine stories. I can tell you that. Also, shouts to Chuck Dotson. How are you, Chuck? Hello, ex-friends. And to Allie. I see Allie's here. She says, happy non-debate night in the USA Tuesday. You awesome nerds. Welcome back. Glad you're here. One thing I wanted to bring back to this was this. So this is included.
Yeah.
It's not in this issue, but I'm not sure when this occurs, when this comes out. We will, of course, come across it at some point, probably next issue. But this was included in these comics because they realized it was becoming challenging to follow along. So this was supposed to help clarify things. I like the sort of Morlock's pipes that you're kind of in the sewer. That was a really fun motif there. But, we're going to read 4 X-Men comics. We are not going to read the New Mutants 46. I do not have it. I don't think we need to. I do have the 2 Thor issues, but again, that might just be where some bad stuff happens to one of our friends in the series. And X Factor, those 3 issues, I might have one of them. I don't know. And Power Pack, I'm pretty sure I have, but again, it's not part of our main story. And maybe somebody could convince me that we need to talk about it some more. Like next week, we're going to have on long time guest booked, like the longest guest booking in the history of guest bookings. It's been 2 years, I think, since he asked if he could do the next issue with us, which is Marvel and DC writer Anthony Falcone. So he'll be joining us week for X-Men 211. And he will probably go in depth into like his take on Mutant Massacre, which is, I think, a very formative part of his existence. And I say that with love and affection. It seems to be, I love when people love things and when they are curious and then they do their research and they formulate insight because of the things that they've been reading and the way they look at things. So he has a take on the Mutant Massacre, and I'm very much looking forward to hearing Anthony go at 100 miles an hour. I believe these are some Walt Simonson drawings. Definitely that Angel looks 100% like Walt Simonson drew it. And the other ones, there are 2 members of Power Pack, and of course Nightcrawler and Beast. And Beast is miscolored, so it looks like he is wearing a helmet, and he has an open V on his shirt above the red X. It's hard to see here, but it's like the part where his would cover his collarbones and his neck is colored flesh, like his chin. So it looks like he has a helmet on. It's a little weird. So one thing to note, okay, Garfield Field says, why is Thor relevant for this storyline? So great question. And this is about relationships at this point. So we know that Chris Claremont, writer of X-Men, writer of New Mutants, cool. We know that Louise Simonson used to be the editor of X-Men. She is now, and was the first writer on New Mutants before Claremont takes it. She is now the writer on X Factor and Power Pack. Oh. Her husband is the writer and artist on Thor. So this is not about what characters are relevant, but what the circle of friends are that trust each other and want to do a project together.
Okay.
So they wrote Thor in to be relevant. He's relevant in terms of the creators and their social life, as is Ann Nocenti, as is Louise Simonson and Chris Claremont. That's what's going on there. Okay. Allie says, a very reasonable, Thor is a friend to all of us, or to all on Midgard. Yes, that is very, very fair. And Chuck adds it, when is Thor not relevant? It's simply just it's people who wanted to hang out together and work on a project. Yeah. So that's why this is here.
That's cool. All right.
Yeah, it is so cool, even though convoluted, or very convoluted, Garfield Field says. So there you go. That's why I wanted to share that with you. But why don't we just dive
Well, now I got to learn the fate of Angel. So now I got to read all of it again.
Well, we're going to learn. You know the fate of Angel.
Oh, it's that thing, is it? Okay. He goes. He finally takes his seat at the Hellfire Club, like we always expected him.
It's hard not to get ahead with the things we already know about the X-Men. This is still kind of early days for a lot of people. Meaning that this was the past for many, many readers, especially people who become fans in the 90s or beyond. So they might think of Archangel as their
angel
baseline for Warren Worthington III. Me, of course, reading comics at this time, that was a transformation too far for me. I was like, nope, no longer interested. I want him to be a fluffy feathered, blonde
billionaire.
Yeah, I don't want I did not want every character turning into an anti-hero. I wanted my heroes to be heroes, and Spider-Man had just gone dark. They were exploring. Captain America throws on a black suit around, not long after this, and becomes what they called at the time the Captain. Iron Man changes armor. The Hulk went gray. Like everyone was kind of having this dark turn, and it was the thing that I was probably least interested in was characters who going from light to dark. I liked how the balance. So Wolverine was enough dark for me, as was Punisher, who had some interest for me too. And when they crossed over, whoa, you should read those, man. Those were good. Chuck says, I blame Frank Miller for all of this. No, man, come on. Miller, if what Miller wrote didn't stick to the wall, then it wouldn't have lasted. But there was a reader for it, right? That's what readers wanted, or enough readers wanted. So it changed. But, there's still silly comics. Remember Fred Hembick? You don't know Fred Hembick, do you, Chris?
I don't think so.
He was like a joke cartoonist working at Marvel and would do calendars on the Marvel Age, or would once in a while do like a send up on someone,
Sure.
or a series. But like if those things were huge hits, that would have been the direction that Marvel would have gone. Marvel followed the money. So if Miller's take wasn't a commercial success, it wouldn't have lasted, regardless of its quality. But blame Miller, sure. I think it's the audience was there. It's that combination. He threw a ball and someone caught it. So, you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, will you be Richard?
Sure.
Okay, good. This is the city. Los Angeles, California. The city of angels and devils. Stanley presents The Morning After. Richard! Before Chris Claremont is the writer, John Romita Jr. and Dan Green are the artists. We still have Glynis Oliver on colors. Tom Orzechowski still on letters. After now, it's like 115 issues. Ann Nesenti editing, and Jim Shooter as editor-in-chief. So I don't know what's going on, why there's a Hellfire guy, in Los Angeles with no mask. He has a name, which is totally fine. And then there's like a really interesting kind of rainbow girl who cares about him. So
interesting also with the Hellfire piece, because we recognize the uniform right away. It looks like the mask might be hanging off the back like a hood.
Yeah,
that is a bit different. Never seen that.
No, we usually see the mask up.
Yeah, and then has he been struck by an arrow or a spear? Is that what that is?
Or harpoon? Let's find out.
Okay.
It does look like so. There would have been an editorial policy that you can't show it going through.
Sure.
The one time they tried this, of course, back to what Chuck is saying, he likes Daredevil. He's saying, I was joking. Natch. Thanks for that. And Richard is no Sal of all the different names that Claremont pulls up. So Miller does do that scene where Elektra is stabbed with a sai by Bullseye.
But it goes through. Doesn't go through her clothing, right?
It tents the fabric. It creates that. So they had to find a way around, and it's very. It pushed those boundaries for sure. So that was a noteworthy thing. So it's funny that we can't have this harpoon or spear or whatever it is going through. But I bet you Romita wanted to draw it going right through. Hunters and hunted. Killers and victims. Richard Salmons, age 27. He was good at his job, an ambitious young man with splendid prospects. Now those dreams are dust. His sole concern is survival. Richard? Dead. He's dead.
Not yet. Help me. Take my hand, Tommy. Give me my gun. Please, Tommy, please. Together we have a chance. Together we can still beat the odds. You run on your own. We're done.
Richard.
For the love of heaven, girl. Please.
I can't. I'm so far from home. I don't know this city. No tunnels. Like under Manhattan. Nowhere to hide. I thought it would be such an adventure, wandering across the country, the whole country. Who's after me? Why do they want to kill me? I don't want to die.
Energy spear. Attacks nervous system. Paralyzed, can hardly move. I've got to. Make an effort. Clown, try. It's only a little ways to the gun. Reach.
Naughty, naughty, chum. No more guns for you. No more anything.
Your mistake. Kill me. My employer, Hellfire Club, will pay you back in kind.
They're welcome to try. They'll get the same as you. Gunshot! Richard! I'm so tired. Don't know what to do, where to turn. That train, it's leaving. If I can get aboard this freight car without being spotted. The door is shut and locked. But for a mutant, a Morlock, that's no problem. Incredibly, Tommy folds herself flat as a sheet of paper and slips through a crack in the door. I did it. I made it. I'm going to live. Everything's fine. Everything's going to be all right. Oh, Richard, you were so kind. You saved me when those butchers murdered my friends. I'm sorry I left you. But I was so scared. This car.
Take her now?
Later, according to the bus's plan.
Don't fret, Marauders. Before we're through, we'll all have our share of kills. And then some.
I hope Malice is having as much fun with her assignment in San Francisco.
Need a hand, Ellison?
Well, hold on a minute. We need to be strategic before you go into that.
Oh, do we?
Allison is, of course, Allison Blair, shouts to the Dazzler and our friend Jason Lowe, friend of the show, Jason Lowe, who is currently writing Dazzler. Dazzler in this moment is in disguise as a raven-haired woman.
Sure.
Named Allison. But she's just, she's having a different look. Mm-hmm. So we might be setting ourselves up for a long-term commitment if you don't read Allison or if you do read Allison.
Okay. All
right. Spoilers, she's joining the team eventually.
Gotcha. All right.
So if you look at the makeup of the team, we can look at who's leaving. It would not be a bad idea for you to take on this character, given that. Do you know who's on the first iteration of Excalibur?
Yes.
So I'm so sad to say this to you. Two of your longtime characters are leaving.
Oh, I know.
And in that, one of my temporary short-term characters is leaving.
That's right.
So would you like to take on Dazzler?
Sure.
Because you're going to lose okay.
Sure.
You can tell we haven't talked about this.
We have not. Hey, by the way, before we get into this other plot point here, yes. I want to know why a Hellfire Club guy is hanging out with a Morlock.
Yeah, that wasn't enough of
right
an exposition dump. I needed
he's trying to protect her. He's doing something. What the heck's going on? Are they like an item? What the heck happened? Like, I want to know this story.
Yeah, that might have been like a lovely Romeo and Juliet forbidden love story where a Hellfire guy and a Morlock meet under there's some sort of meet cute that we missed.
Totally.
And that might be a really good story somewhere in there, or someone could write a really good story and actually invigorate a lot.
He's pretty like in the face of death. He's pretty. He's like, you'll get yours. My employers will get you back. I'm like, whoa. He's
badass.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. I want to see this guy. Anyway.
Need a hand, Allison?
I can manage, Connell. Thanks. I'm stronger than I look. One of the nicer byproducts of being a mutant. I can't believe we struck this whole set in a night.
You'll get used to it, love. Work's pretty much done. Time for the band to party.
I'll pass.
This is so gross. The band that plays together, if you get my meaning.
I do. I don't, you gross. You look like Mott. He looks like Mott the Hoople. I do. some other time.
You're not a solo act anymore, Allison. You're part of a group. You can't keep acting like an outsider.
I'm bushed, Connell. I just want to be left alone to crash on the band bus. Is that a crime? Take a hint, guys. Later, okay?
Woof.
Woof.
Connell is a dick.
Connell is a
So you can see the tour bus is Leela Cheney's bus. So
Right.
maybe she is part of Leela Cheney's band. Now,
remind me who that is again.
Leela Cheney is another musical act who's a mutant in Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have met her if we had have read New Mutants. She's like an ongoing character there. And they meet her in like a really cool Bill Sienkiewicz cover, New Mutants Annual 1. There's like, they go to like another fantasy realm kind of, yeah, anyway.
No.
It's another one of those sort of, fantasy realms where there's mutant rock stars. But she has teleporting powers.
Okay.
But she can like create portals to go through.
Okay.
And she becomes a bigger character when I stop reading X-Men. But we'll meet her later, and a lot of people really love her.
Okay.
And cool. Strong Guy is her bodyguard.
Okay. So that's how he gets into it.
Yes.
Understood.
Matters to you. How you doing? Says the Rainbow Morlock always reminded me of Delirium of the Endless. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
She reminds me of my. There's a crossing guard who lives not far from here, on the way to my children's school, and she reminds me of her, and that might influence my performance. There you go. Ali says, JR here. Ali's cheekbones give me more body dysmorphia than Glamour magazine as a teen. Look at those; they could cut glass. Yeah, I mean it's pretty striking. I totally hear you. Those cheeks look like his old man style more than anything else I've seen so far. Yeah, meaning that referring to Romita Sr. Yeah, it's a JR Senior line. I agree with you on that one. Jim Lee's everything also fed into the body dysmorphia. Heck, even his old men were sizzling. Yeah, I mean, look at, I'm trying to think of who is like
Banshee.
His version of Magneto or Banshee. Well, yeah, he idealizes every figure to a degree that is, it's pretty ridiculous. But we don't have to look at Jim Lee stuff yet. I said that sounded really loaded. We aren't going to be looking at Jim Lee stuff yet. And I do like looking at his pictures, don't get me wrong.
There you go. I shouldn't have yelled. They meant well, and they're right. I've no business playing the prima donna. Leela Cheney?
I think people call her Leela Cheney.
Okay.
But if you called her Lila, it wouldn't surprise. But I'd say Leela Cheney.
Leela Cheney's a star, not me. I sing as well. I look as good. I just didn't get the breaks. Actually, I look awful. I really miss being a blonde. I'm living a lie, and I hate it. Because the whole world now knows Allison Blair is the mutant Firefly Dazzler, the freak who's a living light show. People react to that word mutant the way they do to leprosy. It's become a mark of Cain, a brand. I have this talent, this wonderful gift to convert sound into powerful displays of light, and it's made me an outcast. The only way I have even a chance at a normal life is by wearing this disguise. The band knows the truth, but my secret's safe with them, because Leela herself is a mutant too. I owe her so much, but I hate owing anyone anything. I needed so badly to make it on my own, to prove to my dad the mirror.
You should read this one too, yeah.
Okay. The mirror. My reflection. What? Hi. I'm Malice Allison. I'm you.
By the way, it's not pronounced Malice. It's Italian. It's Malice.
Malice? God.
Sorry.
Perfect. The real you, the star. Too long denied. Who's decided at last to claim her rightful place in the firmament? No. Don't fight, Allie. Don't resist. This is for the best. It's what you really want. Get away! Oh, where is what? Wow. I must have generated so intense a light blast in my panic. I knocked myself unconscious. I wonder how long I was out. That woman, creature, gone. Reflection's normal. Hallucination, then. Had to be. I mean, demons popping out of the mirrors? Give me a break. I'm more exhausted than I thought. Better watch that. Fatigue can play some pretty weird, nasty tricks on the head. I like this choker, just my style. Bedtime, girl. With hopefully sweet dreams. You've earned them.
Every weekday morning, the population of Manhattan doubles as more than 1 million commuters flood from the suburbs. They call this rush hour. Oh, really? Okay. Though it's really 3 hours and nobody rushes anywhere. Huh? A girl? But today, all those bored, weary, self-absorbed working stiffs are shocked out of their lethargy by a sight none will ever forget. She's flying! The young woman's name is Rogue. She's a mutant, one of the Uncanny X-Men.
Looks like someone had a heck of a fight over by that new building. Sign says X Factor. Wonder what that means. Can't worry about it now. Got troubles enough of my own. Not a peep from my wrist sensor. If Phoenix was anywhere in New York City, this little gizmo should have spotted her. Somehow she's vanished, completely without a trace. Poor kid, it's probably my fault she's gone. I've been an outcast. I know what it's like to be all alone, without friends to turn to. When Phoenix, Rachel, needed me, I turned away. The X-Men on our team were supposed to stand by our own, take care of each other no matter what. But in Ray's case, we didn't. I do love that last panel there, zooming under the bridge.
Yeah, you can imagine.
Pretty fantastic.
How fast you have to go to get the water to do that.
Yeah. Been searching all morning. We've barely begun. But I've got a bad feeling. I'm afraid we've lost her for good. What's that? A window washing scaffold? It's giving way.
Joey!
We know. 50 stories up, plenty of time. Platform first. Can't have it fall in the street below. East River's clear traffic. Bingo, a perfect toss. Followed by my equally perfect catch. Careful, girl, careful. Don't want to let them bare skin touch theirs.
Oh my God, what is he saying?
Sanctissima.
Holy Virgin Joey, we've been saved!
I'm dead, I'm dead.
Did you see?
What a feat.
What a body!
She an Avenger?
A mutie.
It's a trick.
A stunt.
How am I doing?
Who cares? We were goners for sure.
I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive.
An angel shall deliver you from on high. Say hallelujah.
No thanks, no need for thanks. I was glad to help. All day's work for the X-Men.
Lady, I'm so happy and you're so gorgeous. I could kiss you.
Maybe next time. And under more pleasant circumstances. Take care.
Be seeing you, Angel.
Nice man. A nice gesture. I like that kiss. Any kiss. But I don't care. The instant anyone's flesh touches mine, I absorb their psyche and that person drops unconscious. Can't help myself. My power's beyond my control. The effect's temporary, thank heaven. The people recover, but onlookers always figure I've killed them. Where mutants are concerned, it'll become second nature to assume the very worst. Huh? Is that me? I look dreadful. Utter and complete ragtag. Mercy, no wonder everyone looks cross-eyed at mutants. Skid Row bums take better care of themselves.
Skid Row bums.
Skid Row
Chuck
bums.
says, so as a reminder, X Factor is the original X-Men team brought forward in time? And no, as Michael informs, it's just the original 5 X-Men reforming as a different group. Each of them was sort of not involved in superheroing, sort of. Right? They bring back Jean Grey from the dead, sort of, as we talked about a few episodes ago. Cyclops is now freed because he's no longer an X-Men. So there are in-story reasons and there are editorial reasons. The editorial reason was pretty straightforward. They wanted to have another X-Men book, and they saw that all 5 members were available, and so they kind of just fudge it so that they're all in the clear. They're not committed to their books. In continuity reason would just be that they feel that they have a mission that they can go on that still keeps Xavier's dream alive, where they can pose as the Ghostbusters of mutants and rescue mutants from hazardous situations, posing as exterminators, basically, posing as mutant busters. And then once they've rescued these or removed these dangerous mutants, they can then secretly train them. It makes no sense, but it's a plot device that they would not be working with the knowledge of the X-Men. Mm-hmm. But you and I have noticed the X-Men have been in San Francisco. They've then been in Warlock's tunnels. They've kind of been away. So the isolation, like no one has phones. They're not texting each other and keeping up with one another. So X-Factor has been allowed to develop for a few issues without the X-Men being aware of them and working together.
Right.
But boy, oh boy, would it have been a much more efficient operation if Magneto or whatever headmaster was going to allow both those things to kind of work. Now, to Chuck's point about the X-Men Out of Time, that was done in a more modern story where they do bring the 5 teenage Jean Grey, Warren Worthington, Hank McCoy, Bobby Drake, and Scott Summers. They bring them, forward in time, and they exist at the same time as modern X-Men, but they're kids. So there are books now where those characters were around for a while. So it would confuse anyone, including all the readers. So yeah, Razor Ramon.
That's right. Scott Hall, actually, when he goes over to NWO. There you go. That's going to change as of right now. I'll keep searching till the store's open. And if I've still come up empty, I'm taking an hour for myself to put myself in order. If I feel as leader Storm has objections, tough.
And so, promptly at 10, when Bloomingdale's throws wide its doors.
Lucky for me, I always carry a cash stash hidden in my belt. Been so long since I dressed up.
Oh, by the way, cue the montage music.
Right. Do, 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 do. I forgot how much fun it was. Do, 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 do. Should feel guilty. Probably will later. Do, 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 do. But no one on the team has seen a sign of Phoenix. What happened here? Where's she gone? She dead? It's cruel, but sometimes I think that'd be more for the best. The girl certainly has some serious problems. Excuse me, ma'am. If you're not too busy, could you save this face?
It's a challenge, dear, but we'll give it our best shot.
Nice. Real nice. I wonder how long it'll last.
What's up?
Didn't you see, man? She saved a guy.
So?
She flew, man.
She said she's an X-Man.
I heard it, man. She's a...
Mutie. You don't belong in a decent store among decent human people.
Was that you?
I already said what?
Oh, sorry. Cut out. Mutie. Show up for mutant. He means me. May I see that other shade of lipstick, please?
You can't ignore me, Mutie.
Want to bet?
X-Factor.
Be my guest. Who are they?
You'll find out the hard way when they take care of you and your rotten kind for good. Yo, Ace. You talk nice to the lady or you answer to me. Pardon? No, you beg hers. For her, me and my partner be splattered all over Lexington Avenue. She's a mutant any more than it does I'm Calabrese or Joey's black. She
shaved our lives.
She saved our lives. Ignorant little Want to make something of it?
Gentlemen, don't you dare fight in here. This is Bloomingdale's.
Ain't my fault, miss. Started it by dumping on my angel. Hey, she's gone. Good riddance.
Yet another moment for discretion to prove the better part of valor. Darn it, I'm running late. Better boogie. What? This ad for X Factor. No wonder people are so paranoid and hostile. Just what we need. Better warn Storm for all the good it'll do.
I'm just going to read the ad if you don't mind.
Sure.
Mutant investigations and resolutions. No need to be fearful any longer. Our skiers team of experts will aid you in finding the answers to one of the most urgent problems of our time. Call our toll-free number. Do not call that number. Operators standing by.
Guys, don't call that number.
I wonder what the other word is. The our
yeah, like
unless it's been mislettered. Like what word?
Right.
Our skipping team of
Right. Yeah.
At that moment, 40 odd miles upstate of Professor Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, home of the Uncanny X-Men.
Metal. You should mention on this weekend that we were on at a show. All right, at a show at this Whitby Fan Con comic book show. So which we've been doing for about 7 years. There is a video game arcade bar place down the street, and they have the original X-Men arcade game. Last year we made it all the way to the end, but we actually died and we ran out of quarters or whatever the heck it was. And so this year we vowed to go back and finish it with our friends. And we did. And we have a friend who's also been on the show before, Jerome Cabanatan, a comic creator from Whitby. And his Colossus, I don't know, it could be the Colossus movie forward. I have no idea. But he just kept, if you're familiar with the X-Men arcade game, when you powered up the Colossus character, he just kind of went, and then like a big, energy comes out. And so he would just go, he'd smash the button, go, metal. It was very funny. It was very funny. So anyway, the last 4 days, Jason and I just been calling each other, texting you like metal. Anyway,
yeah, it was fun playing that game.
Slightly
disappointed. One of the controllers, was broken, so we only got 3 out of the 4, and the one that I was playing, as well as Jerome and others, the attack button was maybe every 3rd or 4th tap you got something out of it. So it wasn't it wasn't the best. But I had a great time. Allie says, Chris is sing all of my getting ready to go out montages.
I'm just going to record.
I think we all do.
Record it and send it to Allie. Do.
And of course, yes, reference to Rogue's makeover. Yeah, that is clown makeup.
That is straight up clown makeup.
It was the 80s Allie ads. We were all doing that to ourselves. Same as me. Same as shoulder pads wide enough to challenge a door frame. Yeah. The 555 area code thing has come up. Yeah, that was the default for all media whenever you're gonna have
I think Smarty Pants Chuck figured out the SK too.
Yeah, there was our skilled team of experts. Yeah, thanks, Chuck.
Exactly.
That's excellent. Yeah, it's Jason says it's a non-working phone prefix.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's sort of like the default joke thing. 555.
Cool. All right, here we go. Ilyana Nikolaevna with a pleasant surprise.
Can a girl visit her big brother? Hey, Colossus, your old costume?
My better costume. I should never have taken it off. My original X-Men uniform. All my new ones are ruined.
Really bright colors, Peter.
I was new wave before my time.
Please. Are these sketches yours?
Yes, again. I began them when I joined the X-Men. For you, prettier than postal cards, but I never had a chance to send them. And now I do not have to, since you have joined our school as one of the novice teams of New Mutants.
They're lovely. And so are you.
The Spasiba, little snowflake. You seem troubled, Indiana.
I am, kinda. It's Kitty. She's really upset about what's happened to Rachel and Nightcrawler. I'm her best friend, but I can't reach her. You two were so close, and you still care for her. That's obvious from your sketch.
In truth, I never stopped.
She needs you, Peter. I mean, if we don't look after our own, who the heck will? Trouble is, right now, it's like the X-Men, maybe the whole world, is falling to pieces around her.
Around the soul.
You have to find a way to stop it, to pull things right, pull them back together, before it's too late.
Perhaps, dear sister, it already is.
Downstairs, in the mansion's central wing, the headmaster's private study.
Brazzle, brazzit, grimble, snickling, pull loose, you stupid circuit board. Ah! Now, where did I leave the replacement? Careful, careful. The trick is to solidify just my forearm enough to grasp and phase what I'm after without affecting the rest of me. If I solidify any part of my body within Cerebro, things could get very messy. By the way, I do love that third last panel just of Peter's face.
Totally.
Great. Just great.
Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone else. Like, it looks like John Romita.
Right.
In a good way. Like, I see a very on model drawing that other artists could use as a reference for.
Totally.
This is what Pete should look like, you know?
Totally. Yeah. No,
yeah,
it's
a
great.
beauty.
It's great. Voila. Now, to see if my hardware modification works. Tray rad. Yo, Lockheed, am I brilliant, Dragon, or what? Cute. Very cute. As soon as I phase free, I'll reactivate the entire system. If I'd phased through Cerebro while it was live, my power would have totally short-circuited it, putting it out of business when it's needed most. The new circuitry board.
Next panel has way too much in it. Oh my god.
So much. The new circuitry board alters Cerebro's operational parameters so that any of the X-Men can use it to scan for mutants, where before only psi sensitives could. Should have done this ages ago. Now, at last, I'll be able to do something to help find Ray and Kurt. Then what? Suppose I find them. Will that do any good? Maybe Rachel's better off wherever she is. Nightcrawler too. I mean, the X-Men struggle as hard as we can to help people, to protect the world, and no one cares. Is this what the world is going to be like for the rest of my life? Yes, Kitty, because you bring it up every issue. Yes, it will be this for the rest of your life.
Since you already interrupted, I'm going to continue for a second. Two things.
Yeah.
One, I wonder if this Nightcrawler teleporting injury disappeared thing is a substitute for what they were going to try and do with him before in the failed attempt to give him some kind of a journey. And maybe this was connected to that in some way, or so it's like a vestigial plot point.
Right.
Or maybe it's just because it's a way to sort of fast track some character development in him by making him injured and have some kind of recovery that impacts him in a way.
Totally.
Secondly, it looks like JR has finally kind of found a version of Kitty that even when she's small in his artwork, the design is working.
Right.
She's got not leg warmers. She doesn't have weird boots. She just has just above the knee.
Yep.
Her costume is a jacket, but not too baggy.
Yep.
Her hair is under control and defined, and not just a scribble. This version of her looks maybe not the best version, but it looks like he finally has figured out how he's going to draw her after all these months and months. This version of her looks figured out to me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas a lot of other ones that seem month to month, he didn't really know what he was going to do. This one actually seems like it's tight. That's just my impression.
No, for sure. Quite possibly. Be nice if things occasionally got better. And if not, what? You wish to quit. What I wish, Comrade Pyotr Nikolaevich Rasputin, what I really want is a super hot fudge quad scoop Sunday banana split with all the trimmings. Yum.
Banana-rama split.
Banana split.
It's actually Lockheed that says yum, by the way.
Oh, you're right. Is that
gross?
Yeah.
Gross. That's disgusting.
Ain't it though? But tasty. Do not change the subject, Kitty. Rachel deserted us, Peter. We needed her. We were there to help her. We nearly died fighting Nimrod, and maybe Nightcrawler has. But Phoenix thought only of herself. So tell me, what do you do when people you trust, people you maybe even love, betray you? I truly do not know.
Metal.
I take each moment as they come. Magneto was once Nettle's foe, yet today he is headmaster of this school. If I have learned anything among the X-Men, is that anything is possible. Going to space and finding love is possible. It is easy to condemn, to cast Rachel forever from our company and our hearts. I would rather offer a second chance.
Beep, 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 beep.
Cerebro's contact alarm. One of our missing teammates has been spotted.
Meanwhile, in Manhattan, a shadowed service alley off fashionable Fifth Avenue, one of the most notorious mutants on Earth floats down to the street on beams of magnetic force. Magneto, master of magnetism. His destination is the Hellfire Club, at their invitation to get his freak on. And right away, by the way, we see Magneto's no longer in that JR Giant M costume.
No.
The one everyone was so excited to see on that cartoon. Like, that thing did not last. It's sort of that, it has its crowning moment on that one comic book cover of issue 200, and then it's like, nope, get rid of that thing. So a lot of people call this as Purple Pajamas.
Right.
Yeah, and if they do make a Marvel Legends of this one, I think I'll pass. But he wears this one for a long time now, by the way.
Okay.
The fabric costume is a special metal fiber, comfortable as cloth, resilient as body armor, easily transformed by his mutant power into something less conspicuous. He isn't surprised to see the avenue crowded with police and journalists. Only hours ago, across the way in Central Park, there was a pitched battle between the X-Men, the Lords Cardinal of the Hellfire Club, which I think I always call the Inner Circle, but
yeah,
Lords Cardinal sounds cool too, and a mutant hunting robot determined to slaughter them all. Nimrod. And looky here. Look at this.
Right.
Look who you get to. Yeah, this is. It's been a while, man. We get a couple characters. That's pretty crazy. Here we go.
Right.
And the city wants to thank you guys for showing up.
It looks like we missed the fireworks. Why didn't you summon the Avengers? Their headquarters is right down the street.
Don't trust them. I'd rather deal with real human beings rather than lousy muties. But they're not mutants. They're super beings. What's the difference?
Is that
wonder?
Yeah.
Let's say it's Warren. And I
Sure.
think you do Warren, do you not?
I think so. I wonder how he'd feel if he knew X Factor were all lousy muties. X Factor. I have heard that name often of late. A band of adventurers who profess to deal with mutants. Rumor increasingly has it that their targets are slain, yet thus far the authorities have turned a blind eye to their activities. If this crowd is any indication, their methods and goals are quite popular. Wait, I know those 5 people. Cyclops, Beast, Angel, Iceman, and the woman must be Cyclops' wife, Madeline Pryor.
I'm gonna have to stop you for a second. There isn't an error in the lettering.
No.
There's no comma between Angel and Iceman, which means it's meant to be read as a name. So Angel is not one word, but Angel is a first name, and Iceman, like
Angel Ichiman.
yeah, it's one name. 2 words, but one first name and a last name. Angel Iceman. I love that, Madeline Pryor is so much a effing clone.
Yeah.
Magneto, who's known her since 1963,
Exactly.
still thinks that might not be her.
That's right.
Yeah.
The surviving members of the original X-Men.
Scott, on the sidewalk. Magneto.
Should we do something? Too big a crowd, Warren. Too great a risk of bystanders being hurt. We'll wait, mister, and watch. Let him make the next move. Look.
By the way, Beast has turned back into a hairless Beast.
Beast is hairless.
Or non-furry Beast. It happened maybe 2 or 3 issues into X Factor.
Oh, okay. Does he get hit by a ray or something?
That would make sense. No, he is the subject of a torturous experiment.
Yeah, well, sure. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Look, he's entering the sexy, sexy Hellfire Club. Figures, what better place for a villain than among his own kind? I do not believe it. Charles Xavier's original students, the first X-Men, hunting down, incarcerating, destroying their fellow mutants. How could they have so betrayed their heritage, Xavier's ideals?
Presently, in the underground chambers of the Lords Cardinal, the Hellfire Club is composed of the richest, most powerful men and women in the world. But within the club is a secret elite inner circle, a cabal, if you will, whose ambition it is to rule the world. We, Lords Cardinal, rule the circle. All right, so that explains that part. There are 3 tiers. There's the whole thing of the Hellfire Club.
Then there's
the inner circle, and then there's the Lords Cardinal.
Of the inner circle.
Yeah. I love how he's explaining how secret it is to Magneto.
Oh, so secret.
Our 4th chair, that of the White King, is empty. We invite you, Magneto, to claim it. For yourself alone, or, if you will, in the name of your precious X-Men.
You must be joking. Was it only last night, Shaw, that you and your consort, the Black Queen, attempted to slay the X-Men? And Emma Frost, the White Queen, has often tried to suborn my novice students, the New Mutants. Shaw and I acted in self-defense, Magneto. Your renegade X-Men Phoenix tried to murder me. No doubt, Celine, with good reason.
Patience, everyone. You are quite correct, Magneto. As is the Black Queen. We have been adversaries. We were so last night. And here we go. You ready? But when faced with a common foe, we set aside those fundamental differences and worked together for our mutual survival. This morning is much the same. Look outside at that crowd, at that accursed X Factor. Something deadly is in the wind, and we mutants can no longer afford any form of, I do not know this word, of internecine warfare?
Yeah.
What does internecine warfare mean? Sorry, my glasses just fell.
I
do not know that word, but I'm going to move on.
Okay.
By our very nature, we are branded outcasts from humanity. The X-Men, more so. Your courage, your heroics go unsung. You must hide from the very people you defend. The Lords Cardinal offer sanctuary and the full protection of our considerable power. Refuse, and, for our own survival, we will not lift a finger to aid in yours. You consider us villains. We consider you fools. These days, those labels must be cast aside. Ours is an alliance of necessity, for only in unity is their true strength. Alone, we can be eliminated one by one. By X Factor, the government's Freedom Force, that robot Nimrod. We may all hang together, Magneto, but I guarantee we haven't a prayer of enduring separately.
A most tempting offer, Shaw. I and the X-Men shall consider it.
Later, in a derelict Hudson River warehouse.
There's the
mute.
Yeah.
Kill him!
Leave me alone. I've done nothing. They won't listen. Ow! Nowhere to hide. Too weak to fight. And no Professor Xavier to miraculously save me as he did years ago from a mob in Germany, the night he invited me to join the X-Men.
Chuck Dodson says, Internecine, fighting among members. Destructive to both sides of conflict. I'm about to sneeze, let me mute. Oh no. I missed it with the tissue. Just sneezed into the air. Yeah, I'm coming down with a cold. Just that, I'm going to be grumpy as anything tomorrow, that's for sure. However, on the floor overhead...
Great, Ileana. Your light circle teleported us for a mansion right to the location the mutant Cerebro pinpointed. Sounds like a real ruckus downstairs. Good thing we changed out our uniforms and left Lockheed home. It's Nightcrawler, thank heaven. Ileana teleported him out of there. No, Kitty, not yet. Are you crazy, Peter? Perhaps, but what hope is mutant kind if all we do is flee from mobs? It is time, I think, to try a better way. By standing up to one. Peter? What are you people doing? Why are you chasing this man? Is he a criminal?
It ain't no man. Ain't even human. Worse than any crook, mister. He's a mutie.
And is that cause to hunt him like some animal? To beat him to death?
A pair of radioactive mutants attacked the X-Factor building not far from here. They tore up the street. They could have contaminated the whole city. They killed millions if X-Factor hadn't driven them off. And the bulk in X-Factor 7. For more adventures of Glowworm and the bulk.
Wow.
Fuck off. Glowworm and the bulk. Coming to you this fall.
Is he one of them?
Who cares?
If he has broken the law, then let the proper authorities.
Human laws for human beings. Back off, fella, or you'll get the same.
Peter must be crazy for pulling a stunt like this. And I must be crazier for going along. Hey, mister, who defines what's human?
It's obvious, girl. Just open your eyes.
That's simple, huh? Well, a whole chunk of my family was murdered in gas chambers because the Nazis said it was just as obvious that Jews weren't human. Not so long ago in this country, people felt the same about blacks. Still do. Some still do. Is that right?
You scared my kids.
You scare me. Does that give me the right to beat your brains out? I'm going to prove how big and tough and brave you are. Beat up on me. Come on, what are you waiting for? You're bigger than me and I'm just a girl. Hey, maybe I'm a mutie too. You ever think of that? And maybe we all are. Maybe the big guy can turn to steel and his kid sister's a demon sorceress and I can walk through walls. Maybe when you're done, you can hang our heads on your wall as trophies. Or better yet, take our scalps like they did in the Wild West. That would really be something to be proud of.
You shouldn't talk to your elders, young lady.
I don't. To those I respect.
It's Kitty.
Ileana, what's happening? I don't want to look.
Oh, she's whispering it like.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's happening?
Yeah.
I don't want to look.
They're going.
Whew.
And you call me the silver-tongued devil. Not too shabby, Kitty.
Blame it on your brother. Of all the lunatic stunts. You are not the only one who felt that what we do, our being X-Men, was losing meaning and purpose. I need to prove that the difference we make comes from standing and working together. I believe in Professor Xavier's dream with all my heart, Katya, and will fight for it until I die, because it speaks to the best within us all. As Rachel herself told us in Happier Times, if we give up, then all our sacrifices, all the hardship we have endured, the grief we have suffered, will have been for nothing. Is that what you want? No. Hang on, fuzzy elf. We'll have you home. And good is new in the blink of Ileana's eye. You were so worried, Nightcrawler. In heaven's name, though, why didn't you teleport away from that mob? I could not catch him. I seem to have lost my power.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. Yeah.
I like, that reminder, that like anti-bullying.
Yeah.
Like you need to reset once in a while and kind of remind the characters and remind the reader like that they, after all these like fights with Freedom Force and fight with the Hellfire Club and and Nimrod, Black back and forth, it's good to kind of be like, yeah, no, we actually stand for something. We're ethical, and there is something here that is important, that's bigger than our costumes and our squabbles, and I like that stuff.
Yeah, nice to have Colossus have a moment there too, right? Like a leadership moment. It's nice.
Totally. We
haven't had much of him doing that in a long time, so
yeah. Garfield Field says Colossus is my favorite. Yeah, he is such a sweet spot for me. And Allie says, I always loved Kitty. To see what Emma saw in her. Yeah, there's the potential of her as being like she's so smart and brave, and obviously her skills are all there too, aside from her mutant abilities. So she's a great character, and yeah, I love her too. This group is, like I said, I've been saying it for a long time. The Storm, Wolverine, Nightcrawler, Kitty, and Colossus is like that's my jam.
Mm-hmm.
The Delacorte Theater, outdoor home of the New York Shakespeare Festival's summer season in Central Park. This is where Rachel's trail leads, Storm. This is where it ends. You say she is lost, Wolverine? She's gone, boss. Where the X-Men can't follow. Is there nothing we can do? I figure I did enough when I nearly killed her. She was trying to murder the Black Queen. Should I have let her? It should never have come to that. The X-Men are a team, Logan. I do not object to your attempting to stop Rachel, but you should not have done so alone. Had all the X-Men been there, she might still be with us, instead of vanished goddess knows where. And if we are a team, my friend, and I am its leader, I must have your trust and, when required, your obedience. All my life, darling, I've been a loner. Then walk away before more harm is done. We cannot afford a next time. The stakes have grown too high. We depend on you, Wolverine. You must be there. I will be. To the end.
It's a nice moment.
Totally. And I do think that this is a thing that like sparks it like plants a seed within readers and creators that there might be something there. I don't think this is the intention for the moment.
Right.
I don't think that's where Claremont is going. I think it's more like grabbing of the hand, and there's like there's a little shake there, like you see the line from Romita that he and Dan Green draw. It's like she's not just not holding his hand in tenderness. It's like if I was to say with one of the words, it's like on the word must. Like you must be there. Like get your shit together and be present and stop being on your own. But I think people it planted a seed in the mind that maybe there is a romance. Maybe there could be a romance there. And so in alternate futures, it does go down those routes. And I do think it's like it's peers and teammates and a nice moment. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Chuck says, I do like how Wolverine accepts Storm's leadership much more than he ever did Cyclops. Yeah, he respects her. I think he's seen her journey, um, and she's earned it like organically, and he's often been her number two, whereas with Cyclops he was the antagonist.
That's right.
You know, these two are a great leadership team. Yeah, the railway tunnel beneath Park Avenue, running from the top of Manhattan Island down the east side to Grand Central Station. The 20th century from Chicago is 2 hours late, as usual. But Tommy couldn't care less. As she folds herself flat and slips out of the baggage car, all that matters to her is that she is alive and home. I thought I'd never see these old tunnels again. They never looked so beautiful. I changed trains so many times. It took ages to get across the country. There's no way those creeps could have followed me. I'm safe.
Surprise, sweetheart.
Ah!
You figure we're chumps, girl?
Please, no. Don't. No.
You should have listened to your Hellfire Club boyfriend. He had it pegged. Together, you had a chance. Alone, too bad. We let you go, so you lead us to your fellow Morlocks. No hard feelings. It's nothing personal. It's our job. We're pros. The best. Marauders. And don't feel sad, youngster. Because where you're going, you'll soon have lots of company.
Next issue is Massacre. So I was reading that guide before I was doing like a Charles Bronson.
Oh.
Hey, Pally.
Hey, Pally.
Sugar the gas
ain't over.
Yeah. It's neat to think like, yeah, I like where it's going because I know who the Marauders are. I remember them, and this is a guy who shoots people.
This guy shoots people.
He's a shooter, and he's a deadly shooter guy. And there are other characters that do other things.
Yeah.
One of the characters in the Marauders is like a super famous ex-villain.
Okay.
Like super famous.
Super duper
and
famous.
Super duper famous, like arch-villain famous.
Okay.
And they also have a boss. And they're like a killing strike force kind of thing. And
yeah,
to me, this was like, these are bad guys. It reminds me a little bit of the Reavers. They're like these
totally.
I want to see them get killed. I want to see a good scrap, and I want the X-Men eventually to really kill these guys.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about how these characters are interpreted, or their proxies or substitutes get interpreted on the cartoon, and whether it's good or bad. And we'll talk more about that next week with our special guest Anthony Falcone, who is very passionate about the Mutant Massacre and its formative impact on comics in the 1980s and beyond. There you go.
Wow. Yeah, I'm just looking at the roster now.
No, don't spoil it, Chris. No, don't do it.
I don't really know who they are, so it's okay.
Oh, you do. One of them you know.
One of them I know. Okay.
Don't you?
Well, I'm looking at names here. Yeah, I know some of them. Yeah. But I also want to see these punks get thrown down.
Oh yeah, I mean, killing that girl, that wasn't very nice.
Not
Tommy.
Cool, man. Not cool.
No, Tommy seemed like a nice kid. What was she doing in LA? I don't know. Why was that guard there? I don't know. Yeah, well, I wonder if we're going to find out that story. We shall see.
Totally.
But we did Whippy FanCon, October 27th, Newmarket, Ontario, Wayside Creator.
That's our next show. Yeah, right.
In lovely Newmarket at the Market Brewing.
Yeah,
so many creators there. If you are in the Toronto area, and you want a really good sample of what comics in Southern Ontario look like, that might be one of the best events to go to get a fall sample. Stock up on your holiday gifts for people. So many good artists and writers will be there. It will be a lovely time. I'm very much looking forward to that hang. And then, of course, November 16th in Mississauga, Ontario, on the west side of Toronto, as opposed to the north. I think I'll be at
Yes.
MCX, the Mississauga Comic Expo. Should be fun.
Yeah, it's always a good show.
Fun time. Yeah. You want to find us in socials and stuff, you can obviously find us. Our website is group7comics.ca. On the socials, we are at Group of Seven Comics, both, of course, with the number 7, because that is the only way to roll, my friends. Yeah, and that brings us to the end of another episode of Previously in X-Men. Thank you to my good buddy, Chris Sanagan, writer of Group of 7 and Peregrines. Thanks, Chris. That was really lovely to hear your voices and your montage music. You can find out more about our comics, upcoming appearances, of course, by following us on social media, visiting the website. So please do that. Please click like and subscribe to the channel. All those little things help us. Throw a comment in the comment section below the video to let us know what you thought of either the episode, this issue, the Marauders, whatever it might be. Whether you like to do fashion montages at Bloomingdale's as well. Let us know all those things, and it really makes a big difference for us. Any kind of engagement helps goose those numbers, and we definitely appreciate that. Any last words there, Chris?
I really hope that everyone enjoys the start of the NHL hockey season. Go Leafs, go! I think we all agree in this chat that that's the team that we all support. So appreciate the love for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Thank you so much.
Yes, we agree. And if you support the Leafs, no comment means you do. Okay, perfect. That's excellent. Everyone, yeah. The Rangers are going to have a great year, I think, too. So that's they'll have a good regular season, and then maybe they'll choke. But no, I'm just teasing. Leafs are everyone's second love. It doesn't matter. I love some good, silly hockey rivalry stuff.
Yeah.
But to just close off, I just want to say, of course, thanks, Bob. And stay Xy, everyone, and have a good night. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care of yourselves and each other.